So, en haar sister was een van die trustees en sy is onder op die acting principal daar by Setlist. Setlist was actually my eerste coaching job. So it was actually interesting to see. Like hoe het is full circle.
Ja. Hoe het bij elkaar komt.
Ja.
Okay. Hi guys. JR here from JR's Corner. This is our first video interview on JR's Corner. I'm happy to announce that I have head of athletics of Maurice Athletics, Stellenbosch University. The head of the athletics, Mr. Maurice Fisher. I'm welcome to introduce him, but he'll introduce himself and just saying what he's doing here. And yeah, meneer, welkom man.
Thank you man.
Had ik jou recht goed gemis.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Sweet man. So just first and foremost, Maurice, who is Maurice Fisher, man? Obviously the people, they know you, they see you around, I mean they can't miss you. You were a figure of stature, you know, great stature, size. So just tell me a bit about yourself, where you come from, who you are, and yeah, what you do here.
Yeah, so born in George, very few people know that. Raised in Paarl, and currently my wife and our kids, we reside in Wellington. Yeah, so I'm employed at Stellenbosch University. I serve as the head coach of Maurice Athletics under the high performance unit of Maurice Sport. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, perfect, beautiful man. And I see you mentioned, I never knew you were from George.
Yeah.
So why never Otaniqua and?
No, my mother and the biggest part of our family is from George. And then when I was about 5 or 6, we moved to Paarl. My dad and his family is from Paarl. Okay. So I was born in George, raised in Paarl. So we still go there for holiday, but I'm a paralleet.
Okay, that's funny pippies.
Yeah.
Nice man. I mean, cool. Paarl is a beautiful place. I mean, I didn't grow up there, but I went to high school there. Yeah. That's obviously where we met each other. And we actually just had this conversation prior to starting the video where we spoke about how life just brings everything around full circle, you know, and coming together. Yeah. We basically reconnected here at Maurice, Stellenbosch University. So just tell me, schooling in Paarl, were you there? Was je daar van klein gymse daar af of hoe was het geweest? Kom je deur die hele gym? Ek weet was hy klein, die klein gymbaadjie, die big break setup, jy ken alles.
Yeah. So actually ironically, ek was by Boys Primary.
Yeah.
So
I
was too young to know. So actually I was in Boys Primary. And I actually, as a primary school kid, I actually hated gym. I hated the colors, you know, the red, the Rasta colors, you know, the red, green, and yellow.
Yeah.
And I was going to go to another high school. So obviously I was good at rugby, good at athletics. And so obviously my father was engaging with schools. I didn't know too much what was going on. And then I think the week or two before school ended, we took a trip to Paarl Gymnasium High School. And the next thing I knew, I was going to gym, and that was a big adjustment or mental shift for me to make. Yeah. But I think if I look back at it now, in retrospect, it's one of the best decisions my dad could have made for me in terms of my schooling career, because it helped shape and mold me to be the person I am. And I grew to love the school, and yeah.
Yeah, sweet man, 100%. I mean, me myself, obviously being an old school boy. Just stopping at that point, what do you think is the difference between a school like I would say, like those type of schools? You know, how does it change you as a student? You know.
I think for me, nothing against Paarl Boys. It's still a great school. I think for me personally, it was just the right decision. I think both are, known as big rugby schools.
Yeah.
But I think in athletics, from an athletics point of view, which I, ended up focusing on, gym was a better choice, and it just helped shape me as a person and as a sports person, as an athlete. Not only focusing on performance, but on sportsmanship.
Yeah.
We had great role models in I think it's Meneer van Wyk and Juffrouw Njal.
Yeah.
People who helped mold you on and off the field.
Yeah.
You know, so that really helped shape my character as an athlete. And yeah, just having great friends as well around you, support you, and so it was really a good environment to help you grow. So it's kind of a big pond. So you know, if you think you're a big fish on primary school, but now you're thrown into a big pond. So there's a lot of other big fish there as well.
Yeah.
And you kind of rub shoulders with the best in the province or in the country, and so that just, you know, every day you're challenged, you know, whether at school or on the field, on the sports field. So that really helped shape me to be the person I am. Yeah.
Sweet, 100% buddy, man. And just the role that sport has played for you in your life, how has it assisted you obviously to be who you are today?
I think with sport it's not black and white, but it's because you have a goal that you want to achieve, and so you work and you discipline yourself to work towards that goal. And so I think that's a principle you can apply to any area of your life. You know, you have certain goals, you want to reach them, and so sport really teaches you the discipline. In team sports, I played some rugby as well. You know, the camaraderie. You know,
I remember you playing the picture speel op
yeah.
Komok, no?
Yeah. So I played under 14, and then after that I had to make a decision because I think in grade 9 I won. Under 15 I won SA schools in the high jump.
Sure.
So I was starting to focus.
What was the height that you jumped at?
The height there was 193.
Sure.
So under 15, and so I had to make a decision. So I stopped playing rugby, but I loved rugby. And so I still played some club rugby.
Nice.
You know, I played.
But at home, didn't you play a bit like?
I played under
later?
14. Under 14.
Oh,
No, I didn't play later. I played. I think matric. We just played for the goffles.
Oh yes,
you know.
yes. I think I remember you
that was
playing
just
there.
for fun, for the goffles.
What position?
I think I played fullback or wing. Fullback or wing.
Fullback or wing.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
I was
so
never.
you still had the pace.
Yeah, I only played lock once in primary school when I missed the ball a couple of times, and so that was my punishment. But other than that, I was in the back line.
Sweet.
But yeah, so I love just the sportsmanship. You know, having guys next to you, having guys committed.
Camaraderie.
Exactly, and then obviously in athletics you're more on your own.
Yeah.
And so it's just that discipline of showing up every day and working on your craft. You know, your technique, your fitness, you know that type of thing, and that's something you can apply in any area of your life. In achieving your goals.
Okay, no, 100%, man. That's an awesome answer. I don't want to skip past this part because ik het die notaatjies gemaakt. Dus ik werk hier altijd van de papieren. Ik gooi hem freestyle gewoonlijk. So I don't wanna skip this portion, man. So you're talking about camaraderie and your teammates and athletes that you obviously rub shoulders with. During your time at school, which was the athletes that you thought that stood out? Okay, I'm gonna throw in a few names in the basket, but I just want to know like a few athletes that you thought should have made it to the higher level, maybe to the world stage, that didn't make it. For whichever reasons, you know. But which was the ones in your school days that you thought, irrespective of whichever item you know they did or code they did?
I want to shy away from naming names, but there's so many athletes, so many. Even today, I see it as a coach. You know, so many athletes that the most gifted ones are not always the ones that make it. You know, I remember, for instance, one year I was 16 years old, so I was under 17 or under 18, and at the provincial champs I came third, you know, and we went on to essays, and I won essays under 18 at the club champs. At the club champs under 18, and so but the guys who were with me in the team were more talented, you know, and it was guys maybe from the Dorans or you know parts of Worcester that didn't have the best facilities, but you know. I saw them as more gifted, more talented, and I had a great coach in Daniel Orange from Darling. He used to drive through from Darling to Paarl to come and coach me, and so you know we have great facilities at Paarl gym and at Al Yosefat, and so that really helped me. You know, my dad went out of his way as well to support me in that regard. Exactly. So I had opportunities that other guys didn't have, and those guys were more talented. They weren't in an environment that was really conducive to help them achieve their best. So that's the one thing, environment, but also then choices. You know, you see guys, you know, whether it's substance abuse, wrong friends, and they fall into that trap where they're influenced by those things, and they just don't go on to make it. So without naming any names, but that's the reality.
But see, there's a name of one athlete that I want to mention, and I mean, you probably not even listening to this podcast or you know to the story that we're sharing here. But Jason Malchus. I'm sure obviously came through in your time, you know. That was a guy that I thought was, you know, coming out Paarl gym, you know, as a grade 8. I mean, I wasn't the quickest of guys, you know. I only became a little bit quicker later on with training and, you know, that guy was naturally, he was a freak of nature in terms of pace and, I mean, I think he could
size,
easily,
everything,
he was built like he was composed soos 'n risispeer, that type of thing. So, I mean, that was one of the guys that I thought was easily gonna at least make it into Olympic team.
If you like say if Jason was on school now, he's definitely the type I would want to recruit to come to Marty's. You know, and I think times are also different. I think, you know, I said now we have the environment and the facilities, but obviously with technology and everything, you know, and exposure, we didn't have superstars back then. So I had a Jacques Vrydag maybe that I looked up to, and yes, I think before that we had Frankie Fredericks, we had Sherwin Friesele, you know, but we didn't have superstars. Like now we have Wade van, we had Nijulis, but we didn't have like a Wade van Niekerk who was like top,
world
the
star,
best in the world, you know, Akani Simbine, one of the best in the world. We didn't have stars like that. So I think, maybe with sprinting, the guys didn't think, okay, there's something beyond this, you know, something more to strive for. So there's various factors, you know, I can't speak for him, but Jason is one of them. I myself, you know, I became a coach early on. I was 24, 25 when I started coaching. So I was coaching and competing, and then, you know, eventually I had to make a decision. I said, you know, because I'm investing so much time in coaching, I had to make a decision to choose between the two. And one of the reasons I made the decision to start coaching fully is because I got more fulfillment from coaching than I got from competing actually. So I got more fulfillment from seeing the success of my athletes than I did from my own success as an athlete. And I always tell them, you know, one of the reasons I never made it because just to be honest, I won under 15 school champs, I won under 18 school champs when I was 16 years old. So I had goals of going to Olympics and all of that. And I always said two of the main reasons I never made it is because number one, I didn't know the price I had to pay. Because I thought I was doing enough, but it wasn't enough. There's a higher price of discipline, you know, of commitment. Beyond just your training on the track, it's how you sleep, how you eat, you know, your mental preparation, your discipline in every area of your life. So I didn't know the price, and number two, I wasn't willing to pay that price. You know, I was satisfied with my level of commitment, and that wasn't enough. So I wasn't willing to pay the higher price. So that's two of the main reasons, and I often shared with my athletes why I didn't make it to the next level. So yeah, that goes, like I was one of them.
Wow, that's actually amazing. I mean, like it takes a great man, you know, to obviously to realize or to take that introspection to see, listen, this is the price that it had to take, you know, to get to that next level. And I mean, I'm sitting as well, you know, similar example. And you made me take some introspection now, you know, and think about why I didn't make it to become maybe a Springbok or, you know, the next level. And I think also, you know, it's the price, it's the discipline, you know, it's showing up all the time, you know. And I think to a certain extent I got there, and then obviously to go to that, to take it to over the brink, you know. You don't know what the next guy is doing, you know, the extras is putting in, the discipline he has, you know. So there's a broad picture. It's easy to say, I didn't make it because of X, Y, Z, external factors, you know.
And there are so many other factors as well, which we didn't even mention. But obviously, as you say, if you go back now, there's more to reflect on. Because everybody's journey is different. 100%. So there might be some things for you that you know, that's different, that might have kept you from achieving that.
No, 100%. Okay, so you actually touched on some of the other questions I wanted to ask about athletic coaching. You basically smashed that. You smashed that question all the way. Okay, and then this is something really important and something very important to me, mental health and mental wellness in sport. How do you think, what role does that play in athletics and in sport in general, mental wellness and mental health?
Well, it's definitely being talked about more now than it has in the past.
Yeah.
When I was an athlete, there was you seldom hear of anybody talking about, how's your mental health.
Yeah.
You were just expected to be okay. And I think with a lot of pressures that athletes are dealing with, especially student athletes, it's our program is focused on, it's a holistic program focused on the student athlete, because you're a human being, and then you're a student and you're an athlete.
Yeah.
And you can't perform if the human is not well.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And so mental health plays a huge part in that. And I think it's great that it is being talked about more, because now we can address stuff. You can't address anything that's not that you're not aware of. And I think it's just because of life's pressures, besides COVID, and I think COVID exposed a lot of things, and brought a lot of things to the surface. And so, because people weren't okay being alone, people weren't okay being isolated, and that's because we need one another, we need to be around people, but now it's like I have to deal with it alone. And so, it's a real thing. And we see it with athletes, and it's you can't label it in a sense of, oh, it's these type of people, they struggle with mental health, or that group, they struggle. It's everybody.
True.
You get athletes that perform, that struggle with it, and then you get athletes that don't perform, that struggle with it. You getting what I'm saying? And so
it's on both
parts of the spectrum. It's student athletes coming from good backgrounds, like when I mean good, I mean well off, financially, and then obviously those that struggle financially who also deal with it. But then you also get robust athletes who come from dire circumstances, and they come here and then they're just mentally so tough because they've just been taught to be tough all their lives. You know what I'm saying?
Get through it, work through it.
Yeah, exactly. So but it's a huge concern, even for coaches. It's something that we addressed amongst ourselves as high performance coaches. We have a performance psychologist, and that's that's one of the things he always checks in with us. How are you doing as a person? As a man, as a woman, as a mother, as a father, as a wife, as a husband. Because if you're not well, it's going to limit you as a coach.
Sweet, 100%, man. And then basically we're getting to the end of our interview now. I mean, I could sit here with you for hours, based on just pulling the wisdom and pulling the knowledge, from what I'm getting.
No, I enjoy this, man.
It's good having you. And then the last but not least, I just want to find out. So this is the 3 F's. It's something I ask for people, obviously, your father, mother, family, man. So faith, fatherhood, and family. That's basically how does that fit into your life, and how do you see it and approach it as being a family man?
That's actually profound that you would ask that, and that you would label it like that. The 3 F's, faith, fatherhood, and family. That's the core of my being, core of my values. It's who I am. And so to start with faith, I'm a unashamed believer in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. So my relationship with Him is foundational. It's foundational to my relationship with my wife, with my kids, in my work and with people. So I endeavor to carry that value across to every area of my life. And so family is key. I just came back recently from a break with the family, and it was just it's a wonderful experience just to have the time of rest, and with my wife and our kids, and just spend time with them. Sometimes you can get so stuck in the cycle of wake up, prepare the kids, go to work, come back, and then you're with the kids and they fall asleep, and same thing over day in, day out. So it's just a nice time for us to connect, and you just see life from a different perspective. I mean, with my kids now, so my mindset is different. You probably the same. You're not just thinking about sorting out JR, or not even your wife. It's about how can I set my kids up, to be in the best possible position in the next 20 years. So our thinking is totally different. So for me, that drives me, that motivates me, and it's not just about sorting them out financially, because it's about time. I can sort them out to be in a great position in 20 years time, but was I there for them during the 20 years? So for me, like, the time is way more valuable than the money. I'll rather make less money so I can have more time with him, and that's why I'm privileged to be in this position as a coach. Yes, I'm full time here, but it's not like I'm working a a 9 to 5, and you know it's a job I love.
Yeah.
It's a job I love, and you know I can still be there for them. You know what I'm saying? It just
100%.
allows me the freedom to
Yeah.
to be there for them.
Yeah, you can still be daddy at home, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You can nog steeds papa
Yeah,
wees,
yeah,
maar jy at work you know, Mr.
Yeah.
Athletics.
Yeah,
you know?
and because I love my job, I don't come home stressed.
100%.
So
yeah.
I don't come home stressed and
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to that. The same thing, you know,
Yeah.
working at the gym.
Yeah.
It's I won't say where I worked before, but previously, you know.
Yeah.
I used to be
It has an effect.
Yeah, you know, definitely.
Whether you're conscious of it or
Yeah.
not, it has an
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So those pillars for me, you know,
That's-
faith, father,
yeah.
family, it's
Beautiful.
key.
Yeah, and then lastly, just dreams, you know, in terms of dreams for you in the space that you currently are. Where do you see yourself? Where do you see Maurice like in 5 years, 10 years from now? Would you want to follow the athletic route, or do you think would maybe be a more spiritual type of pathway that you would follow, or would it combine?
You know, there's actually a great organization, Athletes in Action. So
I know about them.
Yeah, so they use sport as a tool to evangelize. So that for me, that's great, and I meet and connect with them. I don't personally at this stage see myself doing that right now, but I see my job as a ministry, you know, working with athletes.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that I daily evangelize to them,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
but obviously in your example to them,
Yes.
and
So
obviously
you're obviously a mentor for them
Yeah.
as you go on as well.
exactly, but I don't see myself as a Tanny Hans. I think Tanny Hans is now close to her 80s and she's still coaching. So I'm personally right now, I don't see myself coaching for the next 50 years. And I am very involved in ministry. You know, my wife and I, so it's a passion of ours. I don't have an answer for you at this stage, but
No, 100%. But I understand
goals,
what you get from
know,
it.
one of my highest privileges and honors is to see, you know, an athlete to be part of the journey.
Yeah.
You know, one of the athletes, you know, I was involved in coaching them since they were 12 years old.
Wow.
So I actually last year saw them graduate.
That's
You know, so
amazing.
to see them from primary school to high school to graduate from university, that's a great privilege for me. And so obviously one of the goals is to help develop some Olympians.
Yeah. I mean that you basically you
Yeah,
currently doing.
so to coach some Olympians as a coaching goal,
Yeah.
I think like I said, time is important for me, and I think a job doesn't always give that. So obviously I have some business aspirations as well, and just without giving too much detail.
Yeah, no, I just want to say, not on the record. We
Yeah.
can talk about it off
Yeah.
camera. We don't want
So,
people running away with your ideas.
Yeah. but that in a nutshell.
Yeah, sweet man. Maurice, I just want to lastly say thank you to you for your time, firstly. And you know, people, I don't know if you see, like the guys talk about giving flowers, you know. I don't have physical flowers here, but I just want to say, you know, thank you for what you're doing here at Maurice Athletics.
Thank you so
What
much.
you're doing for the athletes. I can see you investing in the guys' lives, you know, in the athletes' lives. And wherever I see you with people, I can see obviously you're making a difference, you're making a change,
Thank you
you know,
so much.
brother. So keep on doing what you're doing, go on, you know, go forth, and I know God will bless you all the way
Thank you
going
so much,
forward,
man.
man.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your love and support, and just for what you're doing. All the best with what you're doing in growing this podcast and tapping in, you know, connecting, getting guys together, you know, connecting, tapping into the wisdom, sharing what you have as well, because obviously it takes something to draw something, you know what I'm saying, and with what you're contributing with this platform, thank you for having me.
No problem. I mean, it's
a
been
privilege.
something I've been
Yeah,
wanting.
we've been speaking about it exactly.
It's been a long time
Yeah.
coming, so I had to get you down and be able to, because I've been saying my admin has been a bit full with, you know, the appointments and that, but just obviously to secure it and make sure I got hold of you, and obviously we can do another thing.
Yeah, we
going
have to do
forward.
it, but
Yeah, we'll definitely do
Yeah.
something going forward as well. But yeah, no, thank you for that. And yeah, on that we have episode 9 done and dusted.
Cool, man.
Sure, buddy. Thank you so much.
Pleasure, man.
Awesome, man.
Sure.
Thanks, man, bro. Yes.
Good. Thanks, man.
Yeah, nah, it was beautiful.